Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan. Google Podcast, Spotify Speaker, or iHeartRadio. This is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan. Alright, good stuff today. We have, obviously I'm going to talk about KD deciding to stay in Brooklyn. Brady's absence. A lot of football today. And I will give you what I think about the Giants and the Cowboys in the NFC East. Later, I will rate how essential each position is in the NFL. All the way from quarterback to safety. Okay, so Kevin Durant is staying in Brooklyn. He's not in the best situation, but I think I've explained multiple times that he brought it upon himself, man. Like, he is the one that chose to go from one of the best coaches in the league to a rookie head coach. The best point guard in the league to Kyrie Irving, who, when he plays, talent-wise, Kyrie Irving is a very good point guard. Problem is, he never plays, and he's not the best teammate. You know, it was... he had a great thing going in Golden State. You know, and I don't want to say that he doesn't have any responsibilities. He was the best player on the team, but he didn't have a big responsibility. Draymond guarded the best player. You know, Steph was the leader. You know, KD just had to be the most talented player on the team. He didn't have to be this wonderful teammate, this great defensive guy. And he may have been those things, but he didn't have to be. He didn't have a lot of responsibility. You know? And if him and Steph were off one night, they had Klay Thompson to fall back on. Now, I'm going to be honest. I can't lie. I didn't like his move to Golden State. I thought it was kind of a sellout, trying to get a free ring. You know, going to a 73-9 team, and especially leaving the team that just beat him in the playoffs. You know, it would be the exact equivalent of LeBron going to the Celtics. You know, they were the best team in the league at that point, and, you know, they were already a super team. Adding LeBron there would have been... no one would have liked that either. And that's why no one liked KD's move. So, no, I didn't like his move, but it was a good move for him. You know, if he was really trying, which I think he was, trying to win, you know, and he kind of had he had everything he wanted. He still showed that he was one of the most talented players in the league. And he was winning. You know, it wasn't like he was on the Thunder again. So, you know, I don't know why he left to play with Kyrie Irving. Huge downgrade from Steph Curry, especially if you ask me. But that's his decision, and he's got to deal with it now. So, Rick Stroud was on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday, talking about Tom Brady. He reported that Brady's absence was not a vacation. You know, I thought it was just to spend time with his family, really. That's what I thought he was doing. Which I didn't mind, you know, he's been in the league for 22 years of nonstop. You know, even back when the Bucks were, back last year when the Bucks were, when they were getting ready for the Super Bowl, Tom Brady isolated himself from his family. You know, like, he has done, and he's accomplished great things, but it has come with sacrificing a lot of time with his, I don't know how many kids he has, but his family, really. But he said it wasn't a vacation, which I kind of thought it was. But, I don't know, I'm curious to see what it was. I mean, apparently, he's been, a little miserable at practice. And I can get that. Can only imagine practicing in Tampa in August, I mean, I've been on vacation in that area. It's hot, but, I'm just relaxing on vacation, so I got nothing. I don't know what it's like to practice in pads with the sun beaming down at you. But the good thing is Rick Stroud also, on Twitter, he said, probably the best practice in terms of execution and accuracy Tom Brady has had since joining the Bucs. When he returned from an 11-day break Monday, he was on fire. That's how one of the members of the Bucs organization described it. Said he was on fire. And Rick Stroud reported it was probably the best practice in terms of execution as a Buc. So that's pretty good. I'm just last few months for Tom Brady it seems like he's not his normal self. It's hard to understand because back in around February, he retired, which shocked the league, actually. And it shouldn't be shocking. I think he turned, is he 45 now? Yeah, 45. That wouldn't be a shock for anyone, but Brady, he's still on a high level. He threw, 40 touchdowns last year, was it? He's doing very well. He's doing very well, and it was kind of a shock for someone to retire. I wouldn't say at the top of his game, but he's still very much in his peak. And, it's just, did he retire out of guilt for not spending a lot of time with his family, and did he come back out of guilt because the Buccaneers signed him to a contract? I'm just interested in his motive of what everything he's been doing the past few months. It's he just seems very out of character the last few times we've seen him. Alright. So Tomlin spoke on the quarterback battle of Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. Now, normally, I would say if Mitch Trubisky is involved in the quarterback battle, it shouldn't really be that close. But I can understand what their thought process is here. Trubisky does have more experience than Kenny Pickett, and as much as I have loved Kenny Pickett the last 2 games, it's only been 2 preseason games against second and third stringers. So, it's not too much to take from it. But he did say the last preseason game is. He said the last preseason game is very significant. So, and yeah, I agree because like I said, give Kenny Pickett these 3 preseason games to see what he can really do. Because I would not want to choose to start Trubisky. Just because we have no one else. That has you in a bad quarterback position. If you have Kenny Pickett, start him the first, and if Kenny Pickett is special, what's the harm in starting him? They got a game against the Lions, so we'll see how he does. Alright. So we finally got a positive review from Aaron Rodgers on the Packers receivers. So he said he sees improvement in the young receivers, but he also said the Packers have to be real about their expectations. Pretty much what I've been saying. Romeo Doubs looks like a very promising receiver. Maybe he can develop into a number one receiver later in the year. But yeah, we got to be realistic. Like, they have two veterans who are aging out, and they have two rookies who are just coming into the league. So they aren't in the best spot. I think their best case scenario is either spreading the ball around to a bunch of other receivers, which Rodgers often doesn't do, or become a run-heavy offense. They do have a very good backfield. They have one of the best running back duos in the league, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. Or my other idea was make Aaron Jones more of a receiving kind of back. But, it's... I think either way, that would be the best thing they can do, because... they're just in a bad spot. The Adams-Rodgers connection was pretty special. And, losing that is it's a big hit. It's hard for me to put a positive spin on that. Alright, so the Cowboys were the first team valued at $8 billion. So clearly this is not a success thing, because in the past 25 years, actually we're going on 26, so the Cowboys haven't really done much. It's... And I will go over later where I think they'll finish. But either way, even winning the NFC East is not an accomplishment. I think the Eagles got it. I think they're the only promising team in that division. So, yeah. I think the only guarantee is Eagles number 1 in that division. Washington number 4. So Rich Gannon has some high expectations about Kirk Cousins. He says he can throw for 5,000 yards with the new offense. Now, I do think he's going to take a jump. Like I said, this is the first year in a while where I don't think I'm going into the year having too much confidence in the Packers being the winner of the division this year. Like I said, my number 10 team in my power rankings to start the year. What did I have? I had the Vikings at 10, but I told you guys I was between them, Raiders, Packers, all them. They could have been in the number 10 spot. I'm really torn on that. I do think he's going to have a much better year, though. Vikings' offense is actually really good. They got Adam Thielen. He is the top 10 receiver. Justin Jefferson. Very special wideout. He should flourish. And he has Dalvin Cook. Let's not forget about that. And the Vikings should be better. They also picked up Darius Smith in free agency. So that's also going to help very much, because they signed Darius Smith because the Packers didn't want to pay him, even though he's an edge rusher, which I am going to go over how valuable I believe they are. All right. So Mahomes threw for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has thrown for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns in the 2 preseason games he's played. which is not an accomplishment. He's a starting quarterback. I'd expect him to dominate second strings and third strings. But, so The Ringer released an all-in index. So what they had there was, they had 10 teams that they are all in on. The Rams, Broncos, Browns, Dolphins, Niners, Bucks, Bills, Raiders, Chargers, and Saints. The teams that are missing there, as we know, are the Chiefs and Packers. You would expect them to be all in. But they're missing their spark. You know, they lost their spark, you know? Adams was like an 120 target guy. You know, that's a big loss. And Tyreek Hill would lead. You know, like, now Mahomes doesn't have a guy to throw 50 yards to. You know, every play. Like, that was a big reason why they were able to stay in that game against the Bills, you know? But now they don't have that spark that keeps them in the game. Neither do the Packers. So that's why I think they're not in the all-in index right now. You know, they lost their spark. So I have the Chiefs at number 6 on my power rankings, but those are subject to change. So they could easily go down from there. And like I said, I got the Chiefs 3rd in their division right now. That's obviously a very what's it called? It's a very bold prediction. Them 3rd in the division. I don't know if it's a very bold prediction to say the Packers are going to come in 2nd to the Vikings, but it's just hard to see the Packers and Chiefs, you know, missing the playoffs because they've been top teams for a while now. Last 5 years, I'd say. All right. So I promised you guys yesterday that I would go over who I believe will come 2nd and 3rd in the NFC East. Because as I said, I think 1 and 4 are, I'm about 85% sure it's going to be 1 Eagles, 4 Washington Commanders. So now I have to decide, do I think the Cowboys are in 2nd or the Giants? So I'm going to go over their schedules. The Cowboys are a team I obviously not very high on. I obviously talk a lot of crap about them. But I just don't like that they're viewed so highly when they are clearly not the best. So they start with the Bucks and the Bengals. That's 0-2 for me. They go at the Giants. I'll say they take a win there. All right, so that's 1 and 2. They go against the Commanders. I'll give them 2-2 there. They're at the Rams and the Eagles. That brings them down 2 and 4. Versus the Lions, I'll give them 3 and 4. Bears 4 and 4. At Green Bay, I'm gonna say 4 and 5. At the Vikings, 4 and 6. I think they split the series against the Giants. 4 and 7. Colts, I'll give them 5 and 7. Texans 6 and 7. Jags, they're now 7 and 7. They lose to the Eagles 7 and 8. At Tennessee, I'll give them 8 and 8. All right, I'll say they finished 9 and 8. All right, 8 and 9, 9 and 8, that range. So, now the Giants. So I'm going to write that down. Cowboys, 8-9, 9-8. So, okay. The Giants open with the Titans at Tennessee. I'll say they lose the first game. They then verse the Panthers. I'll give them their first win. It's 1-1. This is assuming they're fully healthy. I said that they would beat the Cowboys the first time around. Or no, lose to the Cowboys the first time around. So they're now 1-2. Versus the Bears, I'll give them a 2-2. At Green Bay, I'll give them 2-3. Versus the Ravens, 2-4. At Jacksonville, 3-4. At Seattle, I'll say 4-4. Texans 5-4. I'll say they lose to the Lions. I'm gonna say 5-5. At Cowboys 6-5. Versus the Commanders 7-5. Eagles 7-6. Vikings 7-7. Colts. I think they lose to the Colts. I'll say 7-8. All right, and then Eagles. They're down to 7-9. So I think the Giants' best case scenario is 8-9. Because they do play the Commanders one more week. I kind of held that one off until. Yeah, so I think their best case scenario is they go 8-9, while Dallas's best scenario is 9-8. So I'm gonna say the Cowboys finish second. The Giants finish third. I may not feel good about that later, but it's what I'm going with. Giants finish third. Cowboys finish second. I didn't make the playoffs, so it's not that big a deal anyway. So Trey Lance threw 3 interceptions in Monday's practice. So Jimmy G was more accurate than Trey Lance, but this is the system Kyle Shanahan runs doesn't require you to be an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, or who's another accurate quarterback? Russell Wilson. Doesn't require you to be that. Last year he went 9-6 with a 68% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks, 98 passer rating. You just have to be efficient. Also, this roster, is really good. And, I think if he works into the system, the Niners will be very successful. As they have been the last, 3 seasons, And from what I hear, Brandon Ayuk looks really good. They have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell looks good. They have a great roster around Trey Lance, He may not be the best quarterback this year, but he has potential. He's got talent. And you don't need to be any Tom Brady kind of player to be successful and win games in the league. Alright, so back to Katie staying. Patrick Beverly took to Twitter, which Katie obviously always responds to people. I'm not gonna read the whole tweets. I'm just gonna say Patrick Beverley is pretty much right. Everyone who is mediocre in the league was, waiting for the. I'll pull up the tweet. Hold on. So he says, y'all can sit and don't say nothing, but that ain't cool. It's dudes with families out here who haven't got a job because of this KD stuff. And to be on and off ain't cool. So, and KD responded, because that's what he does. Hashtag blame KD. So, everyone who is, mediocre in the league is waiting for, a chance to contribute more, kind of, And if it turns out, stuff like this, which looks like a big deal, turns out to be nothing, it is kind of frustrating. And it looks kind of weak when the media plays this what-if game for a month. And then, and nothing happens in that, it's not a good look. So, alright. Baker talked about facing the Browns week 1. He said there's a lot of attachment there. I think the Panthers, have a pretty good front seven. I think they win in a close one, week 1. And something about Baker just sounds different. He just seems more like he seems more humble. I mean, I would be more humble too if my team just gave up on me. But the Browns were the team for him. It's just, but it just seems like since then he's just gotten better, not from a game standpoint, just from, as a leader and stuff like that, just as a person, really. Like I said, I would be humble too if a team traded for at the time, a potential criminal, just for me not to be their starting quarterback anymore. But he seems to be heading in the right direction, and so do the Panthers. So, I think the Panthers are probably a 7-win team at best, 7-10. I'll say that. Alright. So the Giants' Kayvon Thibodeau has an MCL sprain. He will be missing 3 to 4 weeks. So he'll be there for most of the NFL season. That's really what matters. A lot of people are mad about the block that was given on him. It's a legal block. Everyone knows that. I think it makes them uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable. And I think, I don't know. It's a legal block. It sucks that it led to an MCL sprain, but you can't blame someone for legally blocking and then the other guy gets injured. So other bad news for another team, Washington. Chase Young is on the PUP list for an injury, obviously, and that's not very good. Washington they have an okay defense, but Chase Young is Chase Young's the best player on that team by far. But you know what else I'm worried about with that team? I feel like they're going to fire Ron Rivera if he doesn't win more than 6 games this year, which I don't think is unfair because I think they're just a crappy organization. I think Ron Rivera is a great coach. I don't think it has anything to do with him. I think I just think they're very poorly ran. And, you know, just because Carson Wentz went there doesn't mean they're going to automatically just go out and be like 11-6. You know, like, he's not going to help them that much. Okay. So the Lions held a player-led practice. And that Dan Campbell said he does this because he wants his players to have ownership in the team. You know, and honestly, last year, I was wrong on two different coaches. Nick Sirianni, his first press conference was bad. He was just a mess, that one. But the players really bought into him. And the Eagles surprised me. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people again. And, you know, especially Dan Campbell, I thought he was just not a very good coach at all. And he turned out to be pretty good, actually. And the Lions do seem, even though they were a pretty bad team last year, they seem to be headed in a very good direction. I think they won 6 games this year. Okay, so Sam Darnold. Remember when he was the 3rd pick in the draft? Yeah, me neither. He is obviously unhappy with losing the quarterback battle, but he said he will do everything he can to support the team. Good answer, I guess. That's the only answer you can really say. You can't just... If you're a smart guy, you can't just rant about not getting a starting job, you know? But, and you know, how you handle the adversity of something not going your way tells a lot about you. And the crazy thing, I mean, I feel bad for Sam Darnold, actually. Sometimes. I do. Because, I mean, he's got talent. That's not debated at all. He's got talent. But he's had 2 pretty crappy situations. Like, I'm sure he wishes he could be like Jared Goff and... you know, inherit, like, Sean McVay and, like, have a few good years. And then, I mean, I think he's a lot more talented than Jared Goff, but, you know, it's never been his talent. It's just... Yeah, that also happens with rookie quarterbacks, though. It's not all about talent. It's, you know, you gotta win games, too. Like, Zach Wilson is way more talented than Mac Jones. But Zach Wilson got a rookie Robert Saleh, and Mac Jones got Bill Belichick. So, one won more than the other. You know, just naturally. All right. Now we are going to count... this is actually the last segment of the podcast. It's kind of shorter today. But, alright. I'm going to rate 1 to 10 how essential each position is. Quarterback's a 10. It's the focal point of the offense. Receiver can't catch a ball if the quarterback makes a bad pass. You know, I mean... Quarterback is where it all starts. There's not many in the league that are really great and that can lead you to a Super Bowl. So the quarterback is a 10. That's a very essential position to get right. Running back is a 7. They've lost value over the years. But, I mean, having a great running back doesn't hurt. But look at the Super Bowl champion this year, the Rams. Darrell Henderson is a talented guy, but they didn't have Cam Akers the entire year. So, I mean, they still made the Super Bowl without him. You know, the running back isn't as essential anymore, but it's still, you know, the quarterback can't throw like 50 times a game, you know. They gotta take a load off once in a while and hand it to someone that can get them like 5-10 yards a play. So I'll give them a 7 there. Receiver is an 8 because they can become really valuable. They're a game changer, the receivers. They, like in tight games, it's very it helps a lot to have a receiver 50 yards downfield that a quarterback can just throw to, and like Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, just throwing down the field 50 yards, and that's a big swing in the game. Especially if you're going for a field goal. That's it's huge. All right, tight end is a 5. It's great to have a good one. I mean, Travis Kelce on the Chiefs, George Kittle, 2 playoff teams had a great tight end. Darren Waller on the Raiders. So, great teams do have great tight ends, but look at the Super Bowl. Who's the Rams tight end? Tyler Higbee? Okay. Who is the Bengals tight end? It's not very essential, but it doesn't hurt to have one. So, for that reason, I'm giving it a 5. Offensive tackle. I'll give an offensive tackle a 10 because a quarterback has to have someone to rely on that can block the players coming at them. You can't have people attacking you from the quarterback's blind side. Like, that can really... you can make a Super Bowl without a good offensive tackle or offensive line. The Bengals did not have a very good O-line, but it did improve a lot this offseason. But, I think it's a very essential position. I think possibly if they had a better O-line, they could have won the Super Bowl. All right, offensive guard, 7. Like I said, offensive lines are great. I think that's the reason the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2019 over the Rams. They had a better offensive line in that game. I don't know about the year, but in the game specifically, their offensive line performed better. But it's not a highly paid position, It's not. It's kind of losing some of its value. And like I said, some of the teams that made the playoffs this year, they didn't have great O-lines. But, that can be the separation between them winning the Super Bowl and not winning it, The Rams had a good O-line. Won the Super Bowl. So, both the offensive guard and offensive tackle and the center, which I gave an 8.5 out of 10. The O-line in general is essential because you got to protect your quarterback. Like I said, there are rare occasions where teams with not a very good O-line can make the Super Bowl, but it's rare. And it's always better to have someone protecting your quarterback. So, everyone on the O-line is a 7 or above because it's all essential. Edge rusher, like I said, Zadarius Smith. Probably a big reason the Packers had a better defense the last 3 years than they have in the past 10 years. I gave it a 9. You've got to be fast off the edge. If a team has a great offensive lineman, it can, offensive tackle, then as fast as you off the edge is not going to make much of a difference. That's why both the offensive tackle and the edge rusher are high. You need them both to, either give a team hell or stop a team from giving you hell. So, edge rusher is a 9. Defensive tackle is an 8. Aaron Donald on the Super Bowl champion Rams. The best defensive tackles always go far, always take a team very far, Whenever a team has a strong defensive tackle to clog up another team's running game, that's a huge help. So 8, So the linebacker, I'm going to give a 6. As great as some of them are, their value has decreased each year. So I'm giving them... I mean, it helps to have them, don't get me wrong, but... there are a lot of pretty good linebackers that you can get in free agency and stuff. There's a lot of good linebackers in the league. So it's not like... It's rare if you don't have one, At least one good linebacker. And just doesn't seem like they're all that important anymore. Not a lot of them get a lot of sacks or interceptions. It used to be the position that tackled everyone and stopped them from getting too many yards, but that's not really what they're made for right now anymore. Alright, the corner, I'll give a 6. It's another position, if you have a Jalen Ramsey or a Jair Alexander, it helps to have them, but, you don't really need one of those guys to go so far, Same thing with the safety, which finally the safety, I put it 5 again, I really didn't rank anything lower than a 5, because, like I said, it doesn't really hurt to have... It doesn't hurt to be good at any of these positions. It's just, you don't need it that badly. So, okay, just a rundown. Quarterback 10, running back 7, receiver 8, tight end 5. Offensive tackle 10, offensive guard 7, center 8.5. Edge rusher 9, defensive tackle 8, linebacker 6, corner 6, safety 5. So, defensive tackle, edge rusher, O-line, receiver, and quarterback. Those are the 5 positions you need to be a good NFL franchise. Alright, good stuff today. This is Dylan Miller, Daily Dose of Dylan, Google Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, or iHeartRadio. This is Dylan Miller, Daily Dose of Dylan. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.